It's funny how life works, isn't it? All your life, people tell you to grind harder, wake up earlier, and stay up later if you want success. And sure, that advice sounds good, but let's get real for a second. Does it actually work? For most of us, work harder feels like someone saying, run faster, while they tie weights to your ankles. Discipline, they say, is the key. But here's the truth. Discipline is exhausting when it means forcing yourself to do something that feels like pulling teeth every single day. Our brains aren't built for that. Blame evolution if you want. We're wired to find shortcuts, to survive, not to suffer. That's why the grind mentality fails so many people. It's like trying to paddle upstream in a kayak with a hole in it. The effort never matches the results. But what if I told you there's a better way? What if you could work with your natural instincts instead of fighting against them? Let's talk about talent, your secret weapon. Everyone has something they're naturally good at, whether they realize it or not. Maybe you're great at solving puzzles, making people laugh, or spotting trends before they happen. These aren't just quirks. They're your edge. The best part? Leaning into your talents doesn't feel like work. It feels like second nature. Imagine how much simpler life would be if you built your career or your goals around what you're already good at instead of forcing yourself to become someone you're not. It's like playing a video game on a difficulty level that actually matches your skills. Sure, there will still be challenges, but they won't feel impossible. And when you use your talents, something magical happens. You get better results with less effort. People start noticing, giving you compliments, and suddenly you're motivated to keep going. Success doesn't have to be about brute force. Sometimes it's about playing smart. But let's not ignore the elephant in the room. The system doesn't always make this easy. In school, we're graded on everything, our strengths, our weaknesses, and even the things we couldn't care less about. It's like asking a cat to fetch a ball and then punishing it for not being a dog. The system loves to preach well-roundedness, but in the real world, no one cares if you were mediocre at everything. They care about what you excel at. Life isn't like school. You can choose your own tests. The problem is most of us never learned how to do that. We grew up being told to fit into boxes that weren't made for us, and now we're stuck trying to figure out what we're actually good at. But here's the good news. It's never too late to start. Whether you're 18 or 80, there's always time to pivot, explore, and lean into your unique strengths. So why not start now? Here's where things get tricky. Figuring out what you're good at isn't as obvious as people make it sound. Some folks say, just follow your passion. But what if you're not even sure what that is? Or worse, what if your so-called passion doesn't pay the bills? Let's face it, not everyone gets to turn their love for baking cookies into a six-figure empire. Sometimes you need to experiment. Try things that scare you a little or make you curious. Not every attempt will be a home run, and that's okay. Mistakes aren't failures, they're clues. Think of it like treasure hunting. Every misstep teaches you what to avoid, and every small win nudges you closer to your strengths. When I first started out, I thought I was meant for a sales job. It had all the perks, flexible hours, good pay. But after a few awkward phone calls that left me sweating bullets, I realized I was barking up the wrong tree. That mistake led me to find a path where I could shine using my analytical skills. Discipline still has its place, don't get me wrong. It's just not the superhero we've been told it is. Discipline is more like the trusty sidekick. It supports you when the going gets tough, but it's not the main character. Look at Muggsy Bogues, for example. He was the shortest player in NBA history, yet he dominated a league built for giants. How? Sure, he worked hard. Harder than most, probably, but he also leaned into what made him special: his speed, his agility, his defense. If he tried to play like Shaq, we wouldn't even know his name today. That's the lesson here. Discipline can help you overcome obstacles, but picking the right path to begin with makes the journey a whole lot smoother. When your talents and your work align, discipline stops feeling like a grind and starts feeling like momentum. It's not about how much you can force yourself to endure. It's about how smart you can be with the energy you've got. And then there are the mistakes, the glorious, messy, unavoidable mistakes. We're so scared of messing up that we forget how much we learn from it. Every stumble is a chance to grow, to pivot, to refine your approach. Think about it. How many great stories start with, everything went perfectly and I succeeded on the first try? None. The best successes are born out of 100 little failures. Mistakes are like stepping stones. Each one gets you closer to the other side of the river. When I look back at my own life, the missteps taught me more than the wins ever did. They showed me what doesn't work, and that clarity is priceless. So why are we so afraid to fail? Maybe it's because we're taught that failure is the end of the road when it's really just a detour. Embrace your mistakes. They're proof that you're trying. And trying, as messy as it gets, is always better than standing still. Here's the thing. The system we live in often gets it wrong. We're told from an early age to strive for well-roundedness, to be good at everything, and to compete in every arena. But think about it. What's the point of being average at 100 things when you could be exceptional at just one? This obsession with being balanced often dilutes our potential. It's like training a sprinter to swim or a chef to run marathons. Sure, they might get by, but they'll never truly excel. Instead of forcing ourselves to mold into someone else's idea of success, we need to focus on amplifying our unique strengths. That's what separates those who thrive from those who merely survive. Take a moment to think about what comes naturally to you. Is it leading a team? Fixing problems? Making people laugh? Whatever it is, that's your spark. Once you find it, the world shifts from being an uphill battle to a smoother ride. So, what's the takeaway here? It's simple. Stop chasing someone else's dream. The world doesn't need you to be a copy of someone else. It needs you to be the best version of yourself. Success isn't about grinding yourself into exhaustion or trying to master things you hate. It's about designing a life that works for you, not against you. That doesn't mean it's easy. Finding your path takes effort, mistakes, and a willingness to explore. But when you do, everything changes. Work becomes less of a chore and more of a purpose. The grind feels less like suffering and more like fulfillment. You'll discover a confidence that's rooted in knowing you're doing exactly what you were meant to do. So, ask yourself this. Are you ready to stop living someone else's definition of success and start creating your own? Because the only one standing in your way is you.